Hello, everyone. It's your girl, Olympia D, and welcome to another episode of In the House. Now, I'm always talking to my buyers, and they're like, Olympia, I would need to know about first time home buyers programs. So, today we decided that we're going to talk about some home buyer programs that definitely can help you get into a home. And what would that be? Down payment assistance. So here to talk to us today about it, I had to bring in my girl, Miss Bliss Green from Prime Lending. How are you doing, Bliss?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Now, Bliss, let's just get straight down to the business. Everybody talks about the down payment assistance program. Take us from the beginning to the end. What is down payment assistance?
Down payment assistance is an additional loan that may or may not need to be repaid to help cover the gap between what you have to contribute to the transaction.
Mhm.
So when you make a down payment, you're required, based on the loan program, you're required to contribute to the transaction for the required down payment for the program, plus your closing costs. So if you're eligible for a down payment assistance program, that can cover a portion of the down payment and or closing costs for most loan products.
And talk to us, who is eligible for down payment assistance?
The majority of down payment assistance recipients are first-time buyers. And that's why when people say, what first-time buyer programs do you have? That's what they're actually talking about, is down payment assistance. So people who are interested in getting gap financing is really what we call it, right? So how do we cover the gap in what we have to bring to the transaction? So first-time buyers are the majority of people who are eligible for down payment assistance. There are some state-funded programs that don't require you to be a first-time buyer, which is someone who has not owned in the last 3 years, and that's real estate. So people who own timeshares or family raw land or things like that, that's still real estate. So you're considered a first-time buyer if you have not owned real property in the last 3 years.
All right. Now, talk to us about the repayment process, because this is a little bit different because, as you stated before, some of the loans are forgivable. They're not exactly grants. So give us the rundown on that.
A lot of people think that they don't have to be repaid because for a lot of first-time buyers, they're going to be in the home for an extended amount of time. So they don't end up repaying them. But there are terms to the loan. It's a silent second mortgage. So you have to get the down payment assistance program, which I may be jumping ahead on the explanation, but in order to get it, the lender that's giving you the majority of the money has to apply for the down payment assistance program for you. Okay. So it's a second mortgage, and we call it silent because there is no repayment required for most programs. It's deferred. So that means that a balance is technically owed, but they will reduce what would have to be collected each year you own the property. And if you own the property, live in the property for typically somewhere between 10 to 15 years, that silent lien will be released. If you sell your house or refinance your house prior to said period of time, you would need to repay that loan and pay it forward so other homeowners just like you can get help in their first start.
And here's the thing that I want to make sure that we bring a lot of focus to, that all lenders do not qualify or do not provide down payment assistance programs to their buyers, because a lot of people think that you can go to any lender, that you can qualify for that, but that's not the case.
This is true. There are some lenders that have their own unique programs that may give some type of assistance, but core community lending programs require lenders to be trained and what they call participating. So they have an approval relationship. They know the lender knows the program very well. The loan officers are required to train annually on these product types so that they can truly determine whether or not clients are truly eligible. So much is put on the line when you're negotiating a real estate contract, as Olympia will further explain to you in the process. And the unfortunate part about down payment assistance is that a second party does have to do a second review and approval process to approve their portion of the funds. And that does not occur until the very end. So it's very important that the lenders that participate with those down payment assistance programs have a great overstanding, right? Overstanding of what it takes in order to consummate on those loans. So no, every lender does not offer down payment assistance programs. Every lender does not participate with the programs that are offered.
Mm-hmm. And that's a good thing. We want to make sure that we drive that part home. And as a realtor and also as a lender, we want to make sure that we let you guys know about all the programs that can help you in your journey to become a homeowner. And Bliss, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today to shed some light on the down payment assistance programs. Okay.
Thank you. Can I add one more thing there, Miss
Sure,
Olympia?
go right ahead.
Lenders loan money, and loan officers like myself work for banks and lending institutions. Just because a bank or a lending institution loans money does not mean the individual loan officer understands all the programs that are offered and does that well.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. And the more questions you ask, you'll get more transparency and a greater confidence level whether or not the individual you are doing business with, which is the loan officer, can understand your needs in the process. So I know you may not know what questions to ask, but if you ask them to talk to you about the loan program, talk to you about common concerns or mistakes or common misunderstandings, just like you may not know the exact things to ask applicable to yourself, but if you can just ask some generic questions and just outright ask them, do you do a lot of these loans? You'll also be able to go to the down payment assistance websites yourself and do your own due diligence. They all have their own websites. They all tell what their eligibility requirements are, and they list their preferred lender providers. So if your lender is not on that list, you need to work with a loan officer listed there and ask these questions. So the loan officer relationship really does matter, even past the bank. Thank you.
And one thing I also want to make sure that everyone knows is that every state has its own down payment assistance program. So no matter what state you're in, they have a down payment assistance program. You just need to do a little bit of digging to get the details. But as Bliss stated before, make sure you ask those questions. And of course, Bliss, we want to know, how can people find you?
You can find me online. My brand is Lending Bliss. So at Lending Bliss or hashtag Lending Bliss. My website's lendingbliss.com. And my phone number is 704-241-5135. And we'd love to have a conversation with you about how to help you on your path to ownership.
That's right. And if you're looking to get in the house, make sure you call me at 864-201-2571. And as I stated, Bliss, thank you so much for joining us. And don't forget, you can also catch me on Radio 1 Charlotte, 105.3 R&B, Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. So make sure you tune in and check me out. And until we meet again, make sure you follow me at The Olympia D Show and call me if you have any questions about how you can buy, sell, or invest in real estate. Okay. It's your girl, Olympia D. See you later.